Therefore, our objective in this case was to cross the Atlantic Ocean secretly and to reach the base in Mariel in order to establish a permanent base in Mariel. As I repeat, this journey was conducted secretly. And in this case, the best crews were selected for this journey, including the officers. And the best officers from the Northern Fleet were sent on this mission. And on board the submarines, each had an atomic torpedo. They were only to be used under the instructions of the political leadership of the Soviet Union. And furthermore, each of these torpedoes was under the protection of a captain who was the one who could put them into operation. Of the 4 submarines, 3 surfaced. We were discovered by the U.S. troops, by the U.S. Armed Forces on October the 26th. We had to submerge, and in the evening of the 27th at 2 a.m., we were discovered by planes, and at 2 a.m. of October 27th, we established contact with the American forces. At that moment, the reserve of the batteries were in full action. All the electronic equipment was in operation. The temperature reached 60 degrees. And under these conditions, when we were in contact with the surface, and when we encountered the U.S. forces, when we were on the surface on the 27th and the 28th, the vessel was in combat position. The torpedoes were ready, were in place, and after we saw that we had been discovered by a special group of 10 destroyers and aircraft, and as a result we were forced at approximately 4 a.m. we were then forced to surface, and under the order of the head of the brigade, who was precisely in our ship. If we think about the beginning of military actions, since the Americans were continuously launching packages of grenades, at times with success, because some of these grenades exploded on board. If we would have used any weapon, we would have had to respond. And at a point when passions were inflamed, when we surfaced, I repeat, we discovered that we were surrounded by approximately 10 destroyers. And there were planes flying over us, over the sub, and they fired using anti-submarine bullets. Helicopters were next to the submarine, and as a result we cannot turn around. And they also had these huge projectors. And then we waved the flag of the Soviet Union. And we sent a a wire saying that this was a vessel of the Soviet Union and that they should cease their maneuvers against us. And then we were able to rest, and tensions dropped. We were carrying nuclear weapons, and we had instructions in the case of being attacked. And I would also like to express that we gave proof of intelligence and wisdom in terms of the use of the military weapons to avoid the total annihilation of each side. Thank you.